Has everybody had a chance to listen to Beyonce's new album? The Act 2 Cowboy Carter dropped on March 29th.
And he wiped it on that belt.
I love seeing this version of The Rock. This is Wrestlemania week. Oh, yeah. Hello and welcome to this week's Be About It podcast. We got a lot has happened this week, as well as some things coming up next week. So if you're watching on TikTok, thank you very much for attending. I appreciate the support on that. But if you were listening on our regularly scheduled Wednesdays, that is great as well. Thanks for all the support. But first off, I want to say we lost one of the great actors, or at least one of my favorites over the years. Louis Gossett Jr. passed away, and I was a little saddened because I remember growing up watching a few things of his. My absolute favorite was Diggstown, where he plays an aged boxer doing some prize fighting, and I really loved it. But probably his most recognizable role was an officer and a gentleman as, of course, the drill sergeant. But I was like, so my heartfelt condolences to his family. I wish the best for them. And also in the news up in Maryland, everybody's heard about the bridge collapsing. That was Monday morning news. Heard about that all over the time. So the bridge in Maryland, I mean, that was basically a big container ship crashing into a bridge, and the bridge shortly thereafter just completely collapsed. Now, I want to give a big shout out and a congratulations because while there was some life lost in this accident, it could have been a lot worse had not the authorities and everybody really worked hard, got things done, and there's no telling how many lives were saved due to them actually doing what they could do to get it done faster. They cleared the bridge, cut it off, made sure nobody's going to see this because they didn't have much time to work. So I really want to say that was a great job by all the parties, law enforcement, the fire department, everybody that was involved saving those lives. Great job. I mean, I can't say enough. We did lose a little bit, but it could have been a lot worse. But of course, with that, there's also a lot of the conspiracy theorists are out there, and they are winding up. And they are just saying how it was a plot. Who is, was responsible for this? Was a terrorist act? No, this was just a malfunction. It happened, and it's going to go on. And no, I don't work for any. So, but I'm sure we'll hear a lot more news coming fast and hard on that bridge collapse over there. And because insurance is going to be paying out the wazoo, somebody has got to take a blame for this. And we're going to hear it. Now, has everybody had a chance to listen to Beyonce's new album? The Act 2 Cowboy Carter dropped on March 29th, just a couple days ago. Now, I was actually a little excited about this because, no, I am not a Beyonce fan. I would have said that 1,000 times. I cannot relate to any of her old music, but this kind of got me curious because it was a country album. So I was like, all right, Beyonce, country, I will give this a shot. So I did. Listen to the first two that dropped over the Super Bowl, and I was not disappointed. They were still good songs, not upset at all. One of them, you can hear it all over the place. Texas Hold'em, like that thing is everywhere right now. But a lot of things I did not know about this until I downloaded and looked at the album. There was a lot of collaborations on this. I mean, she had the support from several country superstars, including Miss Dolly Parton. But there were the collaborations with Dolly, of course, had Willie in there, Post Malone, Miley Cyrus, which that song was absolutely great. Two of the best voices in music today. I was like, while I'm not a huge fan of either, I do appreciate the beauty in their voice, and they do have some songs that I do like. But them together made an absolutely outstanding song. I mean, worth the listen. It's Two Most Wanted. Definitely check that out on if you haven't already. And there is a version of, I mentioned Dolly Parton earlier. She, was very supportive over this, and Beyonce does a remake in her version of Jolene. Whenever I heard this song, I was absolutely wow. That was such a good, and it is by far one of the more popular ones on the album based on downloads. But man, that was actually such a great. It wasn't trying to make it her own. It was kind of just paying a tribute to a great song. Dolly actually introduced on the album to it, so it was a great version of it. I mean, I was very drawn in by it, and listening to it, it was, I mean, beautiful all over. It did not feel like it was like trying to upstage her. It was more of a, it sounded to me more of a tribute to a great song. So let's see here. And now, while she has great support, had a lot of collaborations on it, and her and the one in Post Malone, actually, I dig too. But on Instagram, whenever it was first coming out, and she stated that she was honored to be the first black woman to top Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. She hopes for one day that the mention of an artist race is, as it relates to releasing genres of music, will be irrelevant. I cannot agree with her more. Good music is great music. This is just a simple, I mean, I love the way she phrased that. It is simplicity in its wholeness. I mean, it's, if a song is great, it does not matter about the race, color, religion, aptitude. I mean, just it's like if a person is a complete ass and makes a great song, you can appreciate the song and not like the artist. But I love the way she phrased that. That was the most truest statement, and I wholeheartedly back that 100%. And she actually wrote this album because she had a bad experience at the 2016 award show where she performed with the Chicks, formerly of the Dixie Chicks, but they had to change all that because of some nice little, what do we say here, stupidity upon the lead singers wanting to bash the president in a foreign country. That was wonderful of her. So that's why they tried to rebrand themselves, but they couldn't get away from that. But she felt like it was very outsider-ish, even though she was performing with them. So her bad experience wanted her to really put her heart. I mean, Beyonce, she's a Texas girl. I mean, hey, let's say how it is. She wanted to get back, do a little fun things with her country, and she nailed it. I mean, there was not any song on this album that I did not listen to, that I did not enjoy. So, wholeheartedly check this album out. And whenever she was doing the interview and all that, she actually ended, "This ain't a country album. This is a Beyonce album. This Act 2, Cowboy Carter, and I am proud to share it with y'all." And after you listen, now you hear that statement and then you listen to it, and you can hear the R&B and her sound in the background. You know where she's coming from, but you also hear that strong countryness to it. So it really is a Beyonce album. It's like a blend of the two that just came out beautifully and perfect. A lot of great songs on this album. And not just the 16 Caratage and Texas Hold'em that came out. Those two were perfect drops for the beginning, but there's a lot more songs. Everybody needs to get on there and download Jolene. That is a great. I would love, like the CMTs next year, I guarantee you they're going to have Dolly and Beyonce sing this together, because that was an awesome, that would be an awesome duet for that song. Now, that being said, I tease this a little bit. If you're following on TikTok and you see it, I actually have teased a little bit. Now, this is a week of happiness, because guess what? If you're listening on Wednesday, I hope everybody had a great and happy Easter. If you're watching on TikTok right now, happy Easter. But this is WrestleMania week. Oh, yeah. Is WrestleMania, because this is the best week, the biggest wrestling show of the year. And yes, there are some headliners. There is, if you've been watching WWE, I've been watching it since I was a kid. I took a little break because it got a little stupid for a little bit, but that's okay. I was a fan back during the Monday Night Wars. I was a fan whenever Hulk Hogan was around. I was a fan whenever we used to see in the 80s, whenever we used to go down to the Sportatorium over there in Dallas and watch live wrestling, see a lot of great wrestlers come through there. So I have been a fan forever. And I am going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back, and you're going to get my take on this week's WrestleMania, because it's WrestleMania week, y'all. And if you can't get excited about WrestleMania, I don't know what else you can get excited about, because this is awesome. So I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to recharge this, and then I'm going to go. It's WrestleMania week. All right, and we are back. Yes. And as I was saying, WrestleMania week, I have been a fan since WrestleMania 1. I'm going to age myself a little bit, but back in the day, I used to have to wait till the videos came into Blockbuster just so I can watch them, because my grandparents were a little too cheap to rent the $40 pay-per-view. But I wasn't upset, not at all, because I still eventually got to see them about a month later. So, and back then, it wasn't like a weekly show like on Raw and things like that, where we got to see them the next day, knew who was winning and who wasn't. No, back then, you had to listen. You had to buy Wrestling Illustrated. You had to buy the magazines to keep up with everything all over the place, because it wasn't so televised and broadcasted. It was kind of territorial. WWE kind of changed that, where when they launched WrestleMania, it was the biggest gamble in wrestling history. He put Vince McMahon, which, yes, we all know he's in the news for being a dick, but he gambled everything, his entire company, on one event. It was either a make or break at that time. So that is kind of where he stuck his, and it paid off massively. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to WrestleMania, and we're going to talk about the matches, who I think is going to win, where I think it's going to lead to, and we are going to start with LA Knight and AJ Styles. Now, AJ Styles has been around this business for a long time. I have actually seen him here in Texas, been a part of some things that he has done. So he is a phenomenal wrestler. He has put in the time, put in the work. He is great. He is literally phenomenal. You could say that with utmost honesty. Now, LA Knight has put in the work too, but he's just gained popularity over the past few years. Now he's finally found his niche, and he's running. Now, them two are feuding ever since Elimination Chamber. It was set up that way. But it has kind of come to head. But it was a match. I think you had to have them involved in WrestleMania. But what do? You can't throw them in a title match. All those are taken. So you have to have them feud. Good old-fashioned feud as far as. But with the storylines and the way they're going, you cannot kill LA Knight's momentum. He has got to be involved in a title match soon. The fact that he doesn't have gold around his waist right now is incredibly weird. The man owns the crowd. I mean, he does. There's only maybe one or two that can get over on him as far as crowd reaction and support. So LA Knight, you have to do something with him in the near future, and I see that happening probably around SummerSlam, maybe next year's Royal Rumble, where he's going to take it home on that one. But you got to do something, and it's coming. I think his push starts right now. Now, as far as the next one, a U.S. Championship triple threat match. Logan Paul, brother of Jake Paul, who's fighting Tyson in July. I talked about that a little bit ago, but I'm going to bring that back up. I got so many more good things about that. And we are going to have Randy Orton and Kevin Owens going for the triple threat. Now, triple threat rules. There's no count out, no disqualifications. So guess what? It's going to be a good match. I think Logan has actually proven himself to be a formidable. Now, he's got the Roman Reigns wrestling contract where he wrestles every now and again, which I think is crap. Put a strap on somebody we're going to see every week. But I think you have Randy Orton, who has held pretty much every championship in the WWE, and you got Kevin Owens. But you got Logan Paul, and to be honest, I think Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are going to cancel themselves out, and Logan Paul is going to sneak away with a victory. I don't see it happening any other way. It's gonna make a lot of people mad, because Logan Paul plays the part perfectly. People don't like him. So what do you do with that? You build that momentum, because I think that is where you need to go with his character. And he'll have a WrestleMania victory over Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Two obviously great wrestlers who have established themselves over the years. Randy Orton, first ballot Hall of Famer the minute he puts his boots down, hands down. So that's who I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Logan Paul, and I think Logan Paul will feud after somebody new that will take the strap from him shortly thereafter. Now, let's dive into the WWE Women's Championship, where we got Io Sky and Bayley. Now, Bayley has never held a title match in WrestleMania. She's been around a long time, done a lot of things, been a wrestler, but she has never really headlined a main event type thing. And I think it's finally her time to get in there, and I think she is going to win, but I think somebody is going to come back to challenge her after this. Bayley winning is going to set up something else. I don't know what yet. I haven't seen any of the clues coming around. I don't know. I'm not in the back with the press conference, but Bayley winning can only do one thing. It's going to hurt Damage Control and make them feud a little bit more, but I think that's really going to set up something for later if Bayley wins. Now, Damage Control probably get involved, and then Io Sky will walk out with the title regardless, but I think it's going to be an interesting match. I think you have a high flyer that's not scared to put her body on the line with Io Sky, and you got Bayley, the veteran, who is always going to take care of everything. So that's going to be one of my favorite matches to watch, I have a feeling. Now, let's get down to the brass tacks. I got the rest of them, but I got to talk about this one because this has been all over the place. You have Cody Rhodes, night one, and Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns. Now, yes, you did not hear me stutter. I know you've seen The Rock's Twitter, Instagram, everything. He has gone full-blown heel. He is selling the hell out of this.
And he wiped it on that belt.
I love seeing this version of The Rock because this Rock is most entertaining and you get more from him. This is what he was born to do. This is how he became The Rock. So we are getting the best version of D. Johnson, period. Now, there's stipulations on this. If Seth and Cody win, this will ban the Bloodline from being at ringside. But if The Rock and Reigns win, the Bloodline can interfere as they please. Now, this is not a popular thought, but I think The Rock and Reigns are going to win. Because that'll keep the Bloodline, let them interfere as they please, but this will also allow other people to come in. Because, yes, we want to see Cody finish the story. Everybody's been wanting it. We've been waiting 2 years for this. But it's got to be something big. In order to take that strap off of Reigns, which you've had him as the man, the complete person that WWE puts everything onto, he has done. I was like, if you're going to pull the strap off him, it's got to be something big. It can't be something basic, which is why I think they brought The Rock in. I was like, The Rock, he's on the board of TKO, the company that owns WWE, but you got to do something big. And I've heard talks where Dustin Rhodes is trying to get involved to help out his brother with permission from AEW's. So I would love to see some serious, let the Bloodline be, and let a couple people that Cody has known over the years, not in the WWE right now, come out and help him. Because I think that would be good. We've seen Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy hanging out at events in their own little private suites. And that's coming up to WrestleMania. Now we do have a 6-team ladder match coming up. I'm going to get to that in a second. That just kind of spewed off, but I think if you do take the belt off of Reigns, it has to be something big. You can't do. And then Cody gets the belt. Where do you go from there? Now Cody's got the belt. What are you going to do that Roman Reigns has not done for almost 5 years? He has stepped himself above. He has propelled himself into the limelight, and he has kept it. That is the hardest thing to do in modern wrestling. That has not been done for 40 years, where he has kind of made it to where he can do that. So what is Cody going to do whenever he gets the belt? What is he going to do? Now, don't get me wrong. I want to see Cody get the belt. I want to see him finish his story. But where are we going to go after that? It will hurt that belt. Because now, where we have built up all this time and effort for Cody to get the belt. He will get it, and where are we going to go? Because there's nobody that Cody can feud with immediately he hadn't feuded with in the past 2 years. So we have got to, I was like, that's what I would recommend to WWE, to set something. They got to have something in plan right after. I mean, the day after, you have got to step it up that day if you are going to try to forget about Roman Reigns for a minute. Now, Roman Reigns will be back in the picture, and he'll probably feud with Cody down the line to get the belt back. Now, that'll be a different story altogether. I would love to see a bloodline clash, forget all about it, where they're fighting each other for the next few months trying to get back into it, or who's going to be the head of the table after Reigns loses. So, okay, now enough on that one. That one's going to be a big one because it's 2-part. I mean, and I'm actually interested. The Rock has got everybody hyped up about this. Thanks to The Rock, we are no longer in PG WWE. We are back to good old-fashioned, almost Attitude Era type material. Thank you for The Rock for that. Now, night 2 will also feature Seth versus Drew for the World Championship. Now, there's been a build-up on this. CM Punk came out and said, okay, I'll commentate on this. That pretty much means CM Punk's going to get involved some way, form, or fashion. He is not medically cleared, so it will not be action type, but it will be in some way, form, or fashion. I think it will cost Drew McIntyre the championship. Because, yes, I'm sorry, everybody wants to see Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I want to see Seth Rollins and CM Punk. That is the match I want to see. So give that to me. So the only way to do that, you're going to have to beat, and Seth Rollins will feud for a few more minutes. Then McIntyre and CM Punk will get it on to see who faces Seth Rollins again. But that is where it's going to lead to. That's where my prediction is. Seth will take the victory over McIntyre. Now, the World Women's Championship. Now, this one's going to be good. Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. The man. And yes, she lives up to that title. Her and Charlotte Flair have, like Bayley, they were kind of the cornerstones of building the women's revolution that made the women's division what it is today. And I think you got Rhea Ripley coming in, and she is the it thing right now. She has a great thing going with the Judgment Day. So it will happen in some way, form, or fashion to where Rhea Ripley has to beat Becky Lynch. It's got to be a passing of the torch. Because I think if you're going to beat Rhea Ripley now, it has to be with somebody, an upcomer. Otherwise, you're going to kill any momentum you have. It'll be a disqualification, something. I think she might hold on to the belt after this, but you got to let Rhea Ripley lose. But I think Becky Lynch, if anybody's going to dethrone Rhea Ripley, it'll be her. She has a solid crowd support. She has been popular ever since the man persona showed itself. I was there when that happened. It was greatness. I loved it ever since she started it. It has never been a boring fact to me. Now, we have the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Gunther being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion to date. That is saying something, because that title used to be thrown around constantly. Honky Tonk Man used to be claimed as the greatest Intercontinental because he held it for over a year. Now we're talking Gunther that is approaching the almost 2-year mark come WrestleMania, and he's showing no signs. But they have played his character perfectly. His matches are entertaining. He's a power wrestler with a little bit of pizzazz as far as risk taking every now and again. But then you got Sami Zayn, the lovable character that dethrones giants. That has always been, Sami Zayn has always been the underdog that gets it done somehow. So, and he fought Gunther before and lost. Now Sami Zayn's going to come back and fight him again. I think this might be the time that Gunther drops that strap, because in all honesty, Gunther needs to drop it, because if Cody Rhodes wins, we need somebody for him to feud with, and that will be a good feud. Gunther and Cody Rhodes, that I will watch. Now, if you didn't see this coming, you should have been you haven't been watching at all. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. The Usos. Yeet. Yeah, I said that. Can't take it back. It's out there live. It's out there on the recording. It happened. Let's just move on. But these two have been wrestling each other since they were kids. They're twin brothers. They came up in this business together. This is going to be probably, if I'm in this, watching this, and I was in this program, and I was after Jimmy and Jey Uso, I would be asking to be moved, because I have a feeling this match will steal a lot of the show. And this is going to kind of break some people's hearts because they have to go on after this. But those two have been wrestling each other. They know each other's moves. They trust each other completely. That is going to be a great match. And they're both high flyers, so there's no telling where this is going to go. But I do think you got to keep Jey Uso's going, because you've already, I was like, main event Jey, he's gotten a lot of popularity. You got to keep his momentum going. The end. Jimmy, on the other hand, him losing and then his tribal chief knocking him down, that I think will do a lot more for it. So you have, and then that'll create some feud in the bloodline if Roman loses. Now you have some fighting in between. That might set up a triple threat, Roman, Jey, and Sika for the tribal chiefdom. That will also be a great match. That's something we should get into. Now, for the tag team championships, it's a 6-pack ladder match. As you heard me earlier, the Hardy Boys have been seen at the whole, I was like, WWE matches up in their little box and things like that. So what, I was like, if the Hardys accidentally get involved in this match, they probably, back in the day, they did the tag team ladder matches with the Dudleys, with Christian and Edge. That is actually something. Now, they were brought back years ago. I hope they don't do this again. They've already done it. But if they do get it done, I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing the Hardys go in one more time on a ladder match, but you cannot let them win that. Don't let them win this. If they are in, it'll be entertaining, but if they are winning, you will kill that division, or they'll drop them really quick. But they are against, in the 6-pack ladder match, it's the Judgment Day versus DIY, or as R-Truth says, DX. The New Day, which I'm happy to see them back in this. I was like, the Awesome Truth. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about them in a second, because, but they're also against A-Town Down and the New Catch Republic. But let me talk about a little Awesome Truth, why I'm happy to see this happen again, because they had so much potential back when they were put together years ago. They should have rode that. They were making headlines. They were being hated. They were feuding. Hunter Hearst Helmsley was going. Triple H was going after them. They could have built the Awesome Truth into something big, but they broke them up too soon. The Awesome Truth should have went on a run and took the belts and held them forever, because they were a great tag team. They were making headlines. They could have been DX style, where they're making fun, doing what they feel like, and that they could have taken over that. But I think they gave up on them too soon. My personal opinion. What do I know? Just been a fan forever. Now, on the other cards, we have Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar. Now, this is all going back to the feud. Rey versus Dominic. Are not going to see this until it comes. I'm going to guess. I'm going to make a prediction right now. And y'all are watching. Y'all will hear this. Next year's WrestleMania, it will be a career match. They're going to build this up. Career match for Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio will put his career on the line versus Dominic. And we will see Dominic win that. But I don't think we'll see Dominic win it today. He's been on a losing streak. This weekend, I was like, Dominic has been losing constantly. He's going to lose to his father, which I think is just going to add fuel this fire. So I don't think it's going, but I do think they are playing the long game, which they will, next year will come to an end. Now, the final little one, I was like, and I said little mildly, it is the Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross and Authors of Pain, versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, which the reason this one came in is one cost the other their seat in the six-pack ladder match, so there's a little feud on it. Now, these are the matches known as far, but on this one, to be honest, I think you got to give it to Karrion Kross and Authors of Pain. I love Bobby Lashley. The man is an outstanding. Street Profits are entertaining, high-flying, but I think you got to let the Final Testament win this. I was like, just don't kill Authors of Pain so quickly. So that is what we know as WrestleMania right now. That is all I have. I was like, so as far as what's going to happen after, there's no telling. I think the Raw after is going to have a lot of surprises, but every year we get surprising. Now, being that Cody Rhodes, son of Dusty, and we've all been, I don't know if y'all are a fan on the Instagram, things like that, following Stone Cold, but he's posted a lot of workout videos. Now, we all know the history of Stone Cold and The Rock. And we know Stone Cold had a match a couple years ago here in Texas with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania to kind of his last match, last hurrah. But who say that he will not come to Cody's aid against The Rock? Because I'm sorry, Stone Cold and The Rock are money. Every single time they can print it in Vegas, you bet on them in Vegas, you will lose money saying that they will not steal the show. But I think that is going to be my big surprise selection. I think we will have Dustin Rhodes come to the aid, and I think we will have Stone Cold coming out to fight The Rock in Cody's defense. I think that's going to be the big picture. I mean, that's the way I envision. I see Cody winning the championship because that's the only way it's going to be big enough for him to lead into something else. And after Cody gets the belt, it's going to be all up to him at that point. But in all honesty, Reigns looking a little weak out there. He needs some time off to work out, to not be the face of the WWE. I was like, he needs to step away from being the tribal chief, go reevaluate, come back, do what every other wrestler has done that has always been great. Reinvent yourself, come back, make it big. Now, you don't have to reinvent yourself as the tribal chief. You have to reinvent yourself as a person. Come back. Seth Rollins has done it like 18 times since he's been in the WWE. From the Shield to Seth freaking Rollins, it has always been something. So that is my take on the WWE and the WrestleMania. It is all coming to an end, but this is WrestleMania week, so I'm going to post some lot of things on TikTok. If you're not following, give me a follow so you won't miss any of them. If I find out something, I'll be posting there. But like all great things, they do have to come to an end. And as they come to an end, we will call it a day. So thank you for thank you for visiting, thanks for joining, and again, all as well as everything, I'm going to keep talking about it, and y'all be about it. Have a great one.